based on a true story as well. They really couldn't believe it, although he seemed sincere. This New York Yankee come to work one year. He grew up with Westerns, watching Gene and Roy, had told him all his life he wanted a cowboy. He knew of Del Vecchio, the bull rider from the Bronx. He listened to country music and had gone to honky-tonks. From an online auction, he bought a used saddle and 2 or 3 books on the different breeds of cattle. Why he'd come to Florida, no one could rightly say. They figured he'd have headed west to learn the cowboy way. He told them all he wanted work, of his lifelong dream, to ride the range as part of a cow-gathering team. The foreman was dubious. It was calving season. Normally to hire a new man, he wouldn't see a reason. But the Yankee was in luck, because Billy just quit, and the foreman had no choice but to see if he would fit. Well, he couldn't use a whip, and he didn't know how to rope. After hours of teaching, the cow crew gave up hope. They asked if he could ride, and the Yankee said, of course. And so he sat astraddle of a thoroughly broken horse. I see you back there. She's over there, she knows it by heart too, so she's just mouthing it along. That's Jim Paul's girl for you. Anyway, so he sat astraddle of a thoroughly broken horse. Their cracker's speech was a foreign tongue to his pale northern ears, and his Queensboro language pattern was subject to taunts and jeers. Of course he understood English. This Yankee wasn't dense, but in the air between them there existed a verbal fence. The foreman took him on his round, and at a hammock's edge instructed him to ride south through a palmetto ledge. For him to ride through it and to cut through the cabbage trees, skirting around some cypress, and to watch out for the knees. West from the cypress, ride to the pine head, watch for the ditch lizard, your horse don't like the dead. There's a hammock near the cow pens, and we'll meet the other side. The cow crew foreman left him there, and the Yankee started his ride. The foreman's terms, oh goodness gracious, I just did this thing earlier. The terms the boss had used concerned the Yankee some. He worried about falling off when to the ledge he'd come. Abruptly stepping off an edge vexed his fearful soul. His horse scared him half to death as he stepped in a bull hole. As he rode along further, there was blowing a cool breeze, and he contemplated thoroughly what kind of cabbage grows in trees. Though he didn't know it, he come through where the foreman said, and then searched the area expectantly to see a giant head. An ancient sight, a totem pole, he expected to behold, like something off of Easter Island, a Seminole relic of old. He rode into a stand of pine, but he never saw the head. He come upon a cattle trail and followed where it led. Ditch lizard puzzled the man. He thought to ask them later. While ruminating upon this term, he never saw the gator. His horse's nose caught the stench and launched him in the air. He impacted swiftly with the earth, his arm and prickly pear. A string of cuss words left his mouth. Poetically, it seemed, the art of such vulgarity has every sailor dreamed. Concluding his obscenities, he retrieved the final spine as Gopher comes upon the scene, returning Yank's equine. The Yankee mounted sheepishly and continued on his way, muddled still by the terms, his thoughts in disarray. Bewildered though he was sure he'd recognize a hammock hanging in the air between the earth and skies. But he saw no hammock, just some trees and cattle all astir, and round the cows he plainly seed where the cowmen were. When Yank joined them round the herd, Jim saw a pregnant cow. She'd tried to calve, hooves were out. She needed helping now. Well, Gopher roped and choked her. Jim went to tail her down, and it was here that what occurred gave the Yank renown. A simple word assailed his ears. He didn't have to fake. He understood implicitly its meaning, no mistake. Jim had hollered, "Mug the cow!" The Yankee pulled his knife, looked at her with gritted teeth, and said, "Your wallet or your life?"